midnight. A baby is screaming. The mother is exhausted. A man stands up. He doesn't think. He just moves. He picks up the baby. He starts walking. Slow steps, deep voice. Within minutes, silence. You've seen this before. Maybe you've done it. But here's the question nobody asks. Why does it work? Why does that combination, walking, low voice, firm hold, shut a screaming infant down? It's not luck. It's not modern parenting advice. It's older than language. Older than fire, maybe. Your body just ran a program. And that program is 300,000 years old. Let's rewind. For most of human history, there were no cribs, no nightlights. No lullaby playlists. There was darkness. There were predators. And there was one job: keep the baby quiet. Because a crying infant in the open savanna is a dinner bell. A loud cry could bring a leopard, a hyena, something worse. Silence wasn't comfort. Silence was survival. So evolution didn't just favor babies who cried. It favored babies who could be calmed. And it favored adults, including fathers, who were wired to do the calming. Fast, efficiently, instinctively. Now here's the twist. For decades, scientists assumed only mothers mattered. Milk, hormones, biology. Fathers were treated like a bonus feature, optional, background support. But that assumption doesn't survive contact with the evidence. Anthropologist Barry Hewlett spent years studying the Aka people of Central Africa. What he found broke the old model completely. Aka fathers hold their infants for hours a day. Some of the highest levels of father-infant closeness ever recorded, not occasionally. Constantly, skin against skin, hour after hour. This wasn't unusual for the Aka. Researchers argue it may reflect a pattern far older than modern nuclear families, one where fathers were active caregivers, not distant providers. So why did we forget this? Because industrial life split the family in two. Mother stays close. Father goes out, factories, offices, distance. For a few hundred years, fatherhood got redefined, reduced to a paycheck. But paychecks don't calm a screaming infant at 3 a.m. Bodies do. Here's where it gets stranger. In 2013, researchers ran an experiment. Not on humans first, on mice. They picked up baby mice and carried them. Heart rate dropped. Movement stopped. Crying stopped. Then they tried it on human infants. Same result. Carried and walked, babies calmed almost instantly. Held still in the exact same arms, they kept crying. The motion mattered more than the parent. Scientists call this the transport response. It shows up in mice, dogs, monkeys, and us. A built-in switch. Movement equals safety. Stillness equals danger. Your baby isn't being dramatic. Your baby is running ancient math. Now bring in the father's voice. Lower pitch, deeper resonance. Something interesting happens when men become fathers. Some studies suggest testosterone drops after a child is born. Not always. Not in everyone. But the pattern shows up often enough that researchers take it seriously. Lower testosterone, higher engagement. Fathers physically shifting toward caregiving. The body preparing itself for a new job, not weakness, recalibration. Think about that deep voice again. Low frequency travels differently than high frequency. It resonates through the chest. Babies pressed against a father's chest don't just hear the voice. They feel it vibrate. Like a second heartbeat. Like the low rumble of something ancient saying, "You are safe here." But why would evolution build two calming systems? One maternal, one paternal. Wouldn't one be enough? Here's the paradox. Human infants are the most helpless babies on Earth. They can't walk, can't cling, can't feed themselves. For over a year, they're basically useless, biologically speaking. Yet humans became the most successful species on the planet. Those two facts look contradictory. They're not. They're the same fact. Helplessness forced humans to build teams, not just mothers. Fathers, grandmothers, aunts, the whole group. Anthropologists call this cooperative breeding. More hands, more calming systems. More babies who survived the night. A lone mother, exhausted, awake for 20 hours? That baby's odds go down. A father who can step in, calm, and buy her 2 hours of sleep? That baby's odds go up. Multiply that across thousands of generations. Fatherly calming wasn't optional. It was math. Cold, brutal, evolutionary math. Let's go back to Hewlett's research for a moment. Among the Aka, when a baby cries at night, it isn't always the mother who responds first. Sometimes it's the father. Sometimes it's whoever is closest. The infant doesn't just imprint on one calming source. It learns multiple bodies mean safety. Multiple arms mean survival. This is strikingly different from the modern isolated household. One exhausted parent, alone at 3A. With no backup. Some researchers argue this modern isolation is itself unusual, historically rare, almost unnatural, compared to how humans raise children for most of our existence. Now, pull back to you. If you've ever held a crying baby and started walking without even deciding to, that wasn't random. That was 300,000 years of pressure, compressed into a single reflex. If you've ever noticed your voice drop automatically when comforting a child, that wasn't performance. That was biology remembering its old job. You didn't learn this from a parenting book. Your body already knew. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This isn't just about babies. It's about what fatherhood actually is. Not distant, not just financial. Physical, present, load-bearing. Modern culture spent a couple of centuries insisting fathers were secondary. The evidence says otherwise. The evidence says fathers were built, quite literally, to calm chaos, to carry weight, to lower their voice, and lower a nervous system in one motion. So think about that man from the opening scene. Midnight, screaming baby, no hesitation. He wasn't improvising. He was running code older than agriculture, older than cities, older than written history itself. Every step he took, every deep hum in his chest was a message passed down through hundreds of thousands of fathers before him. A message that says, I've got you, you're safe, sleep now. Next time you see a father pacing a hallway at 2A, swaying gently, humming low, don't just see a tired man. See a survival program in action. See something that helped an entire species make it through the night. Because long before lullabies had lyrics, before anyone wrote a single word about parenting, there was just a body moving in the dark, keeping something small alive. And somehow, that instinct never left. It's still walking hallways tonight. Right now, somewhere. Maybe closer than you think.